notice that Mizuki Fuji has arrived on court with strapping on her right thigh. Don't know whether you noticed any problem with that yesterday, Steen, but certainly must have pulled or a muscle or perhaps a little stiff after yesterday's long match that the Japanese had against Gracia Poli and Miliana Johari. 18-19 down. They were in the third and final game. Won 3 straight points to close it out in an hour and 19 minutes, so it wouldn't be at all surprising if the Japanese pair are feeling their muscles after that long encounter. Well, it has to be said, in all fairness, that Ha Jung-eun and Kim Min-jung also had 3 games yesterday, but they lost their 3-game encounter against former world number 1s from Taipei, Chen Wen-sing and Chen Yu-chin. Despite taking the opening game, that was as well.
And it's always hard to tell if it's a big problem, this strapping, or it's just a precaution. But as a coach, you want to keep an eye on that in the beginning of the match and see if she looks troubled in her movement.
So 23-year-old Mizuki Fuji, win-loss record for the year, translates into a couple of semi-finals, a couple of quarter-finals as well. But perhaps more worrying for the Japanese pair. Only once so far in 2012 have they lived up to their seeding position in individual competition. But they did play that great match last night. Beaten earlier on, though, in the group match against Denmark. Lost out to Christina Pedersen and Camilla Rutayul in 2 straight games. So Kim Min-jung, 25 years of age, from Jeju, the southern island of South Korea. Our partner, also 25 years of age. And they really did start the year in great form. The first 2 Super Series events of the year, Korea and Malaysia. They reached the final of both, but perhaps was biggest significance was the semi-final in Korea when they beat the current world champions Wang Xiaoli and Yu Yang of China in 3 games. Well, this is the 6th meeting, as you can see, between these 2 pairs. 3 times previously it's gone the full distance, including that last meeting, which was won by the Japanese pair. But of course that was on home soil for Fuji and Gakiiwa, quarter-final of the Japan Super Series event last year. There's no doubt home advantage does play a part in sport, quite a large part.
You always seem to be able to give a little bit more on home court, don't you?
Is that just because of the crowd, or is it familiar surroundings, or?
I think it's both these reasons are viable. You want to do well. You have your local sponsors watching, perhaps in the stadium. And you're in familiar surroundings, so yeah, it's just also a lot of the teams, I guess, target their own tournament. At least I know that Denmark does. That we want to do well in Denmark Open because there's more interest from the media on your own tournament than, for instance, the Chinese Open. The China Open is not that big media interest in Denmark.
Umpire from Mauritius.
Represented by Gakiiwa and Mizuki Fuji.
We can see that Ha Jung-eun has also got some sort of bandage on her left knee.
So the Koreans get this first women's doubles underway. Cross long. Well, of course, these two Korean players very, very much played their part in Korea's victory at the Uber Cup 2 years ago in Kuala Lumpur, but not on the same court at the same time. 2 years ago, of course, Kim Min-jung was playing with Lee Ho-jung at first doubles, and they beat Wang Xiaoli and Ma Jin at first doubles, and then Ha Jung-eun was playing with Lee Kyun-won, and they beat the Olympic champions Yu Yang and Du Jing in the second women's doubles. And that was it. That was the victory.
I spotted a low backhand here from Gakiiwa. I haven't seen that stroke in a long while.
Always used to be known as the Danish swipe, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think being the Coppen made it famous many years ago.
Well, I've been a little critical in the past of this Japanese pair of Fuji and Gakiiwa. A number of times I've watched them, and so often they seem so content just to extend the rallies as long as possible with the hope of just wearing down opponents. Look at that return of serve, just lift it. There's another one. Lifted long, but the whole mentality of them is not a naturally aggressive pair, and I'd love to see them take more initiative, because there's no doubting their skills.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that they hadn't been able to live up to their seedings lately, and I think that's a tendency for this pair, and I think actually for most of the Japanese pairings that we're seeing at the moment in the ladies doubles, because I think the game is changing. 1-2 years ago, being good in defense was excellent, and nobody wanted to meet them, and nobody wanted to run for an hour and keep smashing away. But I think the ladies doubles is just on the brink of development, that the players that are a little bit more skilled in the attacking strokes, better in the flat game and so on, they know that they must be able to work their way through this kind of defense, and they've been practicing. They've been practicing new ways of scoring points, and this style here that we see the Japanese playing right now, I hope in a way that it's going to be old-fashioned in 1 year from now.
That's gone long. Do you think it's Wang Xiaoli and Yu Yang and the other top Chinese pair of Zhang Yawen, Zhao Yunlei and Tian Qing that have changing the game? Because both of those top Chinese pairs ranked number 1 and 2 in the world at the moment. You watch them play, and whilst they've got wonderful defences, they're both vying to get on the attack all the time. They're both looking to be aggressive as pairs.
Yeah, that's the way things are going right now, and I think it has transformed ladies doubles into something that you actually want to watch. Because a couple of years ago, I didn't want to watch
That's a bit
Japanese
harsh,
pair.
isn't it?
Yes, it is, but that's the truth. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't think it was fun. seeing clears, drops, a few smashes for 2 hours in a row. I didn't want to watch it. But now it's actually fun.
Yeah. Well, this is a very healthy lead. That's delightful block from Kim Min-jung. Turning the defensive play, blocking to the net, following forward.
And I also think that the development is noticeable, that they put Wang Xiaoli and Yu Yang together.
Well, there's a former great. First ever Olympic champion in men's doubles, Kim Moon-soo. And of course, he won that title with Park Ju-bong.
Sitting on the other side of the court.
Exactly. Yep, I think he's pretty pleased with the performance so far.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
That's quite noticeable. We can return to that discussion about the latest doubles later, but it's quite noticeable that in Asia you see a lot of former players being coaches, a lot more than I think is the case in
11,
Europe.
3,
And the reason I think it's interesting is because I feel that there's coming more players into coaching in Europe, but I've also noticed some players thinking that when they stop playing they can just sit in the chair and they will be great coaches, but there's some work that needs to be done ahead of that.
service over, 4, 11.
Well, it was a very short lift from Ha Jong-eun. Got what it deserved. Yeah, you can see how close she is, only the mid-court area. 205. Yeah, now you see, when they play an aggressive rally like that, to me, Fuji and Kakiiwa look so much better as a combination. Know they've got the capability.
And that's what the point was about before. I didn't get to me. I didn't have time to get to it with Wang Xiaoli and
Yu Yang.
Yu Yang. That they're both more all-round ladies doubles players than, for instance, Ma Jin. Ma Jin was very, very strong on the front court, but had weaknesses on the back court. And I think that we'll see that it's not the way ladies doubles are constructed in the future. You must be good all over the court. You cannot have one big weakness.
Service over, 12, 5.
It's clever placement of the smash, aiming towards the left hip of Reika Kakiiwa. Yeah, hunting the shuttle at the net.
Service over, 6, 30.
Clever play here by the Japanese. If it was on purpose.
What a rally. Oh, my goodness. Oh, absolutely sensational.
7-30.
Park saying, that's the way to do it, girls.
What a cross-court net shot to finish it.
It's amazing because they play such a long rally with such solid shots and then take a big risk like that in the end. But that was the one that paid off.
Oh, and then makes an error on the low serve.
I thought the Japanese had a good game plan in that last rally in the beginning because they were targeting Kim Min-jung all the time, but then later on in the rally I got the idea that they weren't perhaps really aware of what they were doing because suddenly they played Ha Jun-un a lot of times. The way I see it, it's a good game plan to target a lot of shots at Kim Min-jung because she isn't that threatening compared to Ha Jun-un. It's Ha Jun-un who creates the points for the Korean pair.
Yeah, throwing in the flick serve, Ha Jun-un. And of course, Ha Jun-un has enjoyed a lot of success at mixed doubles as well. Reached the final of the All England Championships back in 2009 with Go Sung-hyun. And also World Championship bronze medalist in Paris in 2010 in the mixed doubles. One thing I have noticed with her of late, though, Steen, is that she seems to have lost a bit of confidence on her low serve.
A lot. A lot. And the reason I'm smiling is that I was actually coaching a Danish pair, Camilla Rytjehjul and Christina Pedersen, against the Koreans earlier this year, and that was one of the key issues mentioned by the Danish girls, that they'd noticed that Ha wasn't serving really well, so they were going to put pressure on her. And it's so nice, it's so easy to coach players when they have this tactical awareness, because they're doing all the job themselves. So it worked out brilliantly because Ha put the first two short services in the middle of the net.
Going for placement of the smash rather than power.
There was a point from scored by Kim Min-jung here, but she also had it coming directly at her, so move her a little bit and she'll have big problems scoring points.
Well, they're really not controlling their lifts terribly well, are they, Fuji and Kakiiwa?
Oh, and I'm not able to pick up on any particular game plan. It seems to me that it's just like, well, let's play it around a little bit and hope for something good to happen. And I think that will be outdated in a year from now. You gotta make sure something's happening.
Service over 9-19.
Yes, and I think in general terms, women's doubles players have got to think a lot more about the placement of their attacking shots, the smashes. It's got to be very, very precise, either the left hip or the right shoulder, or switch from one side to the other. Not enough channel attack either. And by channel attack, I mean hitting down in between the two players, narrowing the angle of reply, getting your net player involved.
That's especially efficient if you got a net player with great anticipation skills. A little less anticipation skills, you probably have to direct the attack at the sidelines, being able to sort of move the attack over to the half court, giving your net player a better chance to predict what's going to happen. For instance,
It's landed in.
11-19.
Well, I have to be honest, I thought that was a tired-looking shot at the end of that rally from Ha Jung-ong. Never really seemed to stay with it.
it was I don't want to play on any longer shot. Terrible service. Lucky for the Japanese. Another mistake from Ha.
19.
So 5 straight points from 8-19 adrift. Closing the gap. Going out. Oh, she's taken it. My goodness me. And then completely mistimed from Gakiiwa.
Service over 20.
So that error
Game point 30.
means that the Koreans now have 7 game points.
Flickser perhaps again? Yes.
Nicely done.
Game.
First time of asking first game points, and the Koreans convert.
First game won by Korea 21-30.
Well, it was a hard fought within the rallies opening game. 20 minutes of play. say, Ha Jung, the playmaker, the one that looks to go forward to the net. And game number 1 to the Koreans, 21-13. Yeah, look at the number of flick serves there from the Koreans. And 2-2-2. Smash from one of the Koreans. Well, that's just 1 kilometre an hour slower than Camilla Ruta-Yul's smash earlier in the week.
I think it was 10 kilometers.
Was it?
Yeah, actually, I think it was 10. That's another point in developing ladies doubles, that they need to smash a little bit harder. The way I see it, Camilla Yule at this tournament so far, from the players we've been measuring, has the fastest smash, but she's not like the strongest player, and we can see that in the men's doubles and mixed doubles as well. Carsten Mogensen can hit it really hard, Joachim Fischer as well, but they're not sort of extreme in any physical way. They're quite thin, quite skinny, so it's a lot about technique, a lot about timing.
And the umpire having up to ask Fuji and Kakiiwa to return to court. The Koreans were already waiting.
Second game, love all, play.
What were you saying about power smashes? That was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was pretty good, and I suppose it's Ha who has the 222 kilometer smash. In the end of the first game, we saw Ha make a couple of mistakes. So how does that match up with my advice to play a little bit on Kim Min-jung? Well, it does in the way that very often the most creative player is also the player making the most errors when he or she is a little bit down. So if you can figure out when the player is a little bit down, there's a lot of points to be won on Ha. There's also a lot to be lost when she's on fire.
This Japanese pair have been playing together since they were juniors. Most of the time have a great understanding. They're still using the little hand signals to let partner know where the serve is going to go to. Where we can see the drift coming into play.
2-1.
Shuttle flying faster, coming towards us.
And that's actually what the Japanese pair gets working in favor of them right now, is that they must try to exploit that they're playing on the good side, so to speak. They should be able to control their lifts a little bit better than the Koreans now. So that's the way I see it. That's their chance in this match, that there is actually a good side and a not so good side. If that's not the case, then I'm quite sure the Koreans are going to take this match.
Well, the course attendant just been asked to come on and remove a little bit of wildlife that's gone astray. it's long. Neither of the Japanese players were anywhere near it.
3-1.
There's me just singing their praises about the good understanding they have.
Now it's Haas' turn to serve again, and let's see
Service over.
how it goes, and more importantly,
3.
let's see how the Japanese line up, because there's no point in standing really close to the front line. Just go back.
Yeah, so it's not just anticipating the flick serve and expecting it. If you move your base position back a little bit, in other words, without verbalizing it, you're saying to your opponent, don't you dare flick, because I'm ready for it.
And that was what the Danes did so brilliantly in Malaysia. They, on purpose, moved 1 meter back and played with the mind of Ha Jung-eun, and she felt pressure to launch a short service, and she did in the middle of the net twice.
5.
And then she was folded for overhand serve, so it sort of boosted the confidence of the Danish girls.
Play.
Koreans just discussing what to do about the drift.
Six, 2.
Oh, that time it's called good.
Service
Well,
over.
Kakiwa
3.
can't believe it.
Play.
Yeah, I can sympathise with her. That was just long of the back line. Umpire is only allowed to overrule if he sees that a clear error has been made, and quite frankly it was only long by a whisker. Very difficult to overrule in those situations. Now it's well taken at the net from Kim Min-jung.
4, 6.
Very powerful smash again from Ha Jung-eun.
It's not just power, that was perfect placement as well.
5, 6.
Much better service return there.
Psychological battle won in the end with a lucky net cord.
That's what I'd like to see the Japanese doing. In the middle of the rally, they thought we'd better play 4 or 5 shots in a row to Ha Jung-eun, but they could get through this, targeting Kim Min-jung, putting pressure on her, a little bit more creative in their own defense. teasing her to go for the win and make some foolish decisions.
And that was a good return of serve.
6, 7.
Oh, my. What a rally!
Well played, extremely well played by the Japanese eventually in the rally, because the first part of the rally they were doing all kinds of different shots and smashes and so on, and then they sort of got back to, oh, let's play some clears, let's target Kim Min-jung, and that will get us opportunities. So why not try it again in the next rally?
Well, all four players taking the opportunity to have a quick timeout while the court is mopped. First time I actually saw this Japanese pair was at the Austrian International back in 2009, where they reached the final. Just teenagers at the time, and I thought then that it was a pair for the future, and the future arrived very, very quickly for them. They enjoyed having played international challenger events, moved up to the Grand Prix and the Super Series very, very quickly indeed. And of course, reached the final of the All England last year. Oh, it's called goods.
9, 6.
Yep, I think that was plumb on the line. Indeed it was.
It's really,
10, 6.
really well played here. Gakiiwa and Masuki.
Oh, having the intercept with that round, the head shot there. Fuji did remarkably well to actually place it across court. Oh yes, that's where she's so good, Ha Jong-ong.
Service over. 7, 10.
Oh, that is wild. Goodness me.
Service over.
I hit the
11,
carpets around.
7, 2. interval.
Well, 4-point advantage at the mid-game interval. This time in favour of the Japanese pair. So if you were the Korean coach right now, Steen, what would you be advising your players?
I would try to get them to attack because that would sort of take away the difficulties controlling the drift. You would even have a little advantage attacking because the shuttle arrives on the Japanese side a little bit earlier, split second earlier than you'd expect. So patient attack, not a lot of clears, a lot of slices, a lot of 80%, 85, 90% smashes. And I would try to get Kim Min-jung to work on the backcourt and sort of set up the winners for Ha Jung-eun. It seems that the Japanese are using a lot of straight defensive shots, so I would ask Ha Jung-eun to take some chances trying to cover those shots and put pressure on the Japanese mentally. They should know that the front court player is moving and they are unable to predict where she is. And I don't agree with the service from the Japanese. They served short to Kim Min-jung. Flicker, get her on the backcourt where she's easily targeted than on the front court.
Be interesting to know actually how many low serves Ha Jung-eun has played all match. He had another flick there.
I don't think she's played any short services. I think the 7 we saw after the first game was that many times that she served. And Lee Young-dae is facing a tough task playing Olympic mixed doubles with Ha Jung-eun if she's unable to launch a short service. That's it. That's it. Well played by Ha Jung-eun. She tried that twice. The first time she didn't succeed, but she intercepted the shots here at the net, and that's what I really like her to do. And that forces the Japanese to do something else in their defense. They can't just do what they've discussed and probably practiced earlier. They need to put them cross as well, and to create uncertainty in your opponents is always good.
I just sensed a little more urgency in the style of play there from the Koreans.
11, 12.
Well, it was a 4-point deficit at the mid-game interval. Now there's just 1 point in it.
And the problem for the Japanese is that the Koreans take turn at attacking, and that's what I don't want. I want Kim Min-jung to attack if I were the Japanese. Good shot.
Oh, good rally.
Fantastic play here. I hope you noticed at home that when Kim Min-jun is attacking, nothing bad is happening to the Japanese. And eventually the opportunity will occur. And they exploited that so brilliantly in this rally. A few very important rallies now.
Yeah, and is that concerning? Ha Jung-eun, obviously. Well, she's got those supports on her calf muscle. She's also got her right knee heavily bandaged and seemed to be trying to stretch, or certainly feeling fatigue in her legs. Yeah, look, she's skipping up and down on the spot there, trying to loosen up.
But you shouldn't do that much of physical practice. A lot more service practice.
It's called wide. And presumably, Steen, is it just psychological with Ha Jung-eun on her serve, or is
think
it
so.
technically there's nothing wrong?
I don't think there's anything wrong technically. I think it's all psychological. We saw the Danish women's doubles coach Ricky Olsen during the major part of her career, very, very solid server. In the end, the same happened to her that apparently has happened to Ha Jung-eun now. Almost unable to launch even a long serve.
Similar thing happened to Chin Wen-sing, former
Yeah,
world number
that's right.
one. Of course, she's still playing with Chin Yu-chin and had the most magnificent match last night when they beat this Korean pair. There was 3 players on court. They were all struggling with their low serve. It was still a terrific match.
Wide.
Going wide. Yep.
Service over.
But the Koreans have caught up, trailing 7-11 at the interval, but they're close now, so they can see an end to it. I think they're going to take this game. If I were Kim Mon-soo, I'd say, come on, girls, 8 more rallies, work hard, and then we can go home. Well played.
Yeah, Reika Kakiiwa gradually moving herself further and further towards the net until she was able to kill the rally.
over, 14.
I just looked a little over anxious on that one. Mizuki Fuji seemed to snatch at it.
Really lucky for the
Service
Japanese
over,
pair.
16, 14.
Not so much that it was a big opportunity for her, but she looked like she was setting up a winner in 2 or 3 shots from there.
Kaneko Yonikura looking very concerned at the moment.
Wow, jump smash.
Yes, followed up by her partner playing the deceptive drop.
17, 14.
Good combination play. Now, much flatter smash that time.
18, 14.
And totally deceiving Kim Min-jung.
All the credit to the Japanese for creating a 4-point gap again here and taking the initiative back.
Service
Well,
over,
if the Koreans
15.
want to win this in 2 straight games, one suggests that they've really got to have a little run of points right now. But it's on the Ha serve.
Fuji, go back 1 meter, please. Wide.
Oh, well, of all 4 players on court, you would have thought that Ha Jung-eun
19.
would have been the most reliable at the net. Uncharacteristic error.
A little bit like we saw in the first game, we saw that shot that looked like I don't want to play anymore. Also in the end of a very, very long rally. So that's interesting, that's worth noticing.
So as an opponent, you take heart from that. You notice that there's a frailty, that perhaps psychologically they're going through a bit of a bad patch. And that's when you push harder. Put them under even more pressure. 50 minutes already. This women's doubles has been in progress.
Play.
I would expect Ha to go a little bit more for the quick winners now, because they need to create some points to try and win this second game. Great play by Kim Min-jung here.
Service over 16, 19.
Reading that defensive shot really well. Good shot. The thing I don't like of the Japanese play now, that's better, is that they're just playing her on the same, almost the same position on the court. They need to move Kim Min-jung a little bit, because otherwise she's not making any mistakes. If they try to move her directly from one side to another, it will probably be Ha going for the shuttle. So they need to move her from one side to the other, but they need to use 3 strokes to do that. One in the right side, one close to the middle, and then they can move her to the left side of the court.
Oh, that's good. So is that. Such a big point.
I think it has to be quite long for the Japanese to let it fall. Simply too costly to take any chances. Great defense.
Well, she ran out of patience again, did Ha Jung-eun.
Service over 20.
It was a very, very intense rally. Huge significance, because the Japanese winning it has brought them 3 game points.
Seems she's walking a little bit stiff, Fujimizuki.
Yeah, and they've converted. 21-17. It is one game all.
21-17. 1 game all.
55 minutes of play. And we're back to square one as far as this women's doubles is concerned. Everything to play for in this third and deciding game. And of course, both these pairs had very long matches yesterday evening. The Koreans 3 minutes shy of the hour mark. And for the Japanese pair, an hour and 19 minutes. Well, very, very even, isn't it, on the overhead winners and winners from the net, but look at the difference in serves. There's quite a lot of stretching going out there from all the players. Park Jubong and his former doubles partner, Kim Moon-soo.
And until now, this is the first time we actually see Park coaching in the intervals. The other times it has been his assistant coach.
A sign that he's concerned, or
probably has some ideas. Probably like to take over the racket and go play it himself.
Yeah.
I know him well.
Final game, love all, play.
so is it all going to come down to physicality?
It depends. It depends how good they are tactically, because I think if you employ the right tactics, you have a good chance.
Well, both pairs have obviously done better from this near side of the court as we look down.
So the Koreans are looking to go to the interval with the big lead, and the Japanese, they should of course try to get as many points as possible. But they should actually go for the lead at the interval, because otherwise you don't try hard enough. If you are satisfied with having 7, 8 or 9 points, you're not doing it well enough. Because when we're going to change ends again in this third game, the Koreans will also have a plan for how they want to play the last part of the third game. So it's not going to be as easy for the Japanese in this game that as it was in. It wasn't, of course, easy, but you can't expect it to be the same way it was in the second game, because they must expect their opponents to have a better plan this time. Played. Good point by Jung.
Service over, 2-1.
I think she's in trouble, Misuki. Physical trouble. Her legs are not doing what she wants to, the way I see it.
Perhaps that bandage is hiding something that's a little more ominous than we had realised. Low serve is good.
3, 2.
Hold in, at least. Well, her legs were doing all right there. Excellent play.
Well, the body language of Kim Min-jung, a little bit concerning, I should think, to Korean fans.
Reaches the shuttle very early at the moment. Gakiiwa.
And paying dividends, because this is a run of 5 straight points.
Service over, 3-6.
She gave that defensive shuttle a little bit too much power.
There's full call by the umpire, because the
4-6.
shuttle touched the racket of Reika Gakiiwa before landing out. That's wide. Koreans are doing well.
3 quick points here.
6.
Yes, can hardly bear to watch. Oh, well played from Ha Jong-eun.
6-all.
The way I see it, we've got a more attacking game here in the third. Both pairings looking to attack at some point in the rally. And just as I said that, the Japanese are playing a little bit more defensively, but also losing.
Yes, and it's bewildering in a way, because for them to build that 6-2 lead, they were so positive in their style of play and their tactics, and all of a sudden go defensive, and here they are, a point behind now.
Thank you. Wait. Play.
Koreans playing a lot on Gakiiwa at the moment.
Everything on her.
Everything. So will we see a mistake from Ha eventually?
Oh my
Whoa.
goodness me. Brilliant. What a rally! A little nod of approval from coach, even though his players lost the rally. Well, sometimes you have to just accept that opponents have hit a wonderful winner. Big gulps of air and gulps of liquid going on board for Ha Jonglong.
Okay, thank you.
6 straight points now to the Koreans.
Always interesting to see what happens after such a long rally.
That's a well-worked point by the Koreans. Yes, and it was a good rally because so often after such a hard-fought, grueling rally, quite often we see a very short rally. Well, that was good play. 7 straight points now to the Koreans. Yes, once again, well worked, well constructed rally. Oh, this is extraordinary, isn't it? They were 2-6 down. 8 straight points. And a totally different complexion at the moment on this deciding game.
They need to score a couple of points, the Japanese, otherwise. Oh!
Did that touch her, or did she get out of the way?
Service over.
No, she managed to get out of the way.
10.
Ooh. Well, certainly not called by the umpire.
It's been so great for the Koreans to change sides with a 5-point lead. Amazing run by the Koreans. I don't know really what happened on the Japanese side. They seemed totally in control on 6-2 and then suddenly completely lost it and leaving all the initiative to the Koreans.
Yeah, you can't sort of pinpoint and say what it was that changed the momentum. It wasn't a particular shot or a particular rally.
We actually saw one rally where they targeted Kakiiwa like this. I like this play by the Koreans. Great shot.
I don't believe it. What a rally. Absolutely fantastic. Well, it is the Koreans who have the advantage at the change of ends here in the deciding game. And apart from the advantage at the change of ends, I can't help but wonder how much of a psychological impact that rally will have on this contest. That was so important for both pairs. The need, and you could see the intensity of all four players on court, so desperate to win that rally. An hour and 11 minutes already.
And the Koreans have won 9 out of the last 10 points. The only one missing was that smash just going long. So they definitely have the psychological advantage.
No question, the momentum is with the Koreans. But can they keep that going? Japanese, well, they are terrific fighters.
11, 7, play.
Oh my goodness me, suddenly produces an outright winner on the smash.
11.
What a shot from Gakiiwa.
On this side, it's more difficult for the Koreans to get the right accuracy on their defensive shots. They might go too short because they're afraid of putting them long.
Oh, it's gone wide. Just overdone it.
Service over, 12-8.
Well played by the Japanese here. Catching Ha Jung-eun out of balance. And now we know it's going to be a short service.
And short. Got all tangled up on her defensive play. Did Gakiiwa.
Service over, 13.
Aimed towards her left hip, trying to play it with the forehand action. Made a complete mess of it. Opened up. A 5-point cushion.
That's not really what you're looking for at the moment, because every time, every point played and you're not getting any closer boosts the Koreans' faith that they will be able to win this match.
That's well long.
Service over, 10-14.
We were talking in the opening match, Steen, about the manner in which players play and how that affects their teammates. Well, quite frankly, if the Koreans were to win this marathon women's doubles encounter, psychologically, apart from the fact that there'll be 2-love in the lead as far as the overall semi-final is concerned, one sort of feels the psychological effect on the second women's singles players will be immense.
Yeah, it would definitely give a huge advantage to the Korean team and to Hyunjo Bae.
Yeah.
Service over, 15.
Koreans been a little bit stronger in the attack, at least since they were trailing 2-6.
Service over, 11-15.
Need a couple of easy points, Japanese girls here.
So it's a low serve to the centre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. It's short. Well worked. I have to say, I'm not really convinced myself about these hand signals to partners.
Service over,
Not where you're going to serve.
11.
There is a giant screen in this arena. If you know the signals, do a quick glance up, see what your opponents are signalling to each other.
And if you're serving the same service 8 out of 9 times, I mean, what's the point?
Service over, 12-16.
Oh, goodness me.
Service over,
What a
17,
time.
12.
No, it's never a good time, but quite frankly, that could be very, very costly.
This is looking really, really good for China.
Yeah, good play at the front of the court from Hart Jung-eun. Just explain that to me. Why do you say that?
These two pairings look really, really tired, and that should be 1 point for China in the final, provided that they get there, which I assume they will. But then again, there's 1 day's rest between this match and an eventual final, so
Yeah.
they should be able to recover in some way.
That's beautiful. What a lovely use of the mid-court area there from Hart Jung-eun.
19.
Coming forward to the nets, just steering it down into the open space. And 2 points away from a second point to Korea in this semi-final. Yeah, once again, well worked. And now, after an hour and 20 minutes,
Match point.
8 match points for Ha Jung-eun and Kim Min-jung.
over 30-20.
Going wide. That's the second match point that has been very well saved.
40-20.
Oh, I don't believe it. Well, that was extraordinary defence. Still, the rally goes on. This time, third time of asking. It is third time lucky. And the number 3 ranked pair in the world, Ha Jong-eun and Kim Min-jung, have beaten the number 4 ranked pair, Mizuki Fuji and Reika Kakiiwa, in 3 grueling games. What a match it was. 21-13, 17-21, 21-14 in the deciding game in an hour and 23 minutes. Well, a number of overhead winners and indeed winners from the front of the courts favour the Koreans, and that probably was the deciding factor in that deciding game.